Hello. It is time for Bustanomics episode 5. Last week, I said that the focus was going to be, or not the focus necessarily. I said that the targeted audience, my intended audience, there we go, that's the word. Brain was kind of farting there. The intended audience for last week's episode was this unnamed group that I have kind of become, acquainted with. I was about to say a part of, but if you've gone to one event, can you really be considered to be a part of something? It's like if you start a job at a place and you've only worked there one day, can you really say that you have a career there? You could say you have a job there, but a career, give it a few more months minimum. Probably a few more years before you start throwing around the word career. Anyhow, I kind of went off into the weeds, as I am wont to do, talking about becoming ungovernable and how that word has changed for me and what it means to me now. And what it used to mean to me was you're this Neo that has seen the source code and you can do whatever. You're unstoppable. I guess that would be a way to summarize the way I saw it. You are unstoppable. You are John Wick with more money than God. No government can mess with you. But the way I am hearing that now, or the way that the filter that is me, the Dell filter, is hearing that word now become ungovernable, or that phrase, is to be resourceful enough, as much as you can on your own, but also surrounded by people that fill in the gaps and supplement and augment the areas where you lack, because you're only one person. You can only do so much. And be in a group, a community, if you want to use that word, a team, whatever it is that you want to call it. You're part of this entity that is larger than yourself. And with your network, your close-knit, to a degree, network of people, trusted people, then you don't need the government. You don't need to go to the hospital when your significant other, your wife, is having a child, because there's a doula, there's a midwife in the group. You don't need to go to public school because there are people that know various history and English and maybe another language. And so you can take your children to these individuals and do a homeschool type thing. Homeschool doesn't have to mean that you're doing it in your home. Homeschool is kind of an umbrella term for not needing to go to public school. Anyway, that's the way I see ungovernable now. I'm going to read this post here. It popped up on 4chan. It looks like in 2013, and it's been around for obviously at least that long, but I've seen it posted around a number of times, quite a few times, I should say. So I'm going to read this, and it's going to kind of set the stage for where I want to go today, and we're going to go off of this. But before I do that, real quick, this is the post. You've probably seen this. The main topic that I wrote down here for the bust talk is find a team. Be needed. Carve your niche. Become the guy for that thing, whatever that thing is. What is my thing? I can write. I know I can write and I can talk. What can I do with those skills? How is that useful for others? Well, I have an ability to convey information in interesting, I think amusing, sometimes funny ways that are digestible, but only things that I understand, obviously. A lot of people will talk on subjects and talk about ideas that they don't really fully grasp, but they can make it sound like they know what they're talking about. And you're like, I used a lot of big words. I go the other way. I try to use really simple, stupid words. I have heard people on podcasts so many times be asked by the host to explain this thing like I don't understand it at all. Like, can you explain this, the nuances of this esoteric scientific thing that only you and two other people are even aware of in terms that anybody could understand? Well, absolutely. So what we want to do, and then they go on this 10-minute spiel using jargon and specific vocabulary to that field, and you're left dumber than you were 10 minutes before. I don't know what he said. I have no idea. What the heck was that? But I try to go the other way. Assuming I understand something, or I think I do, and maybe I should talk about this trouble here real quick. I've already set up a bunch of rabbit trails, so I need to start snipping them and getting rid of them. But assuming I know I know a subject, then I try to dumb it down and use simple, really, truly plain English terms. That's what I think I'm good at. What are you good at? Now, I don't know if that's a really useful skill. It is not what I would call a practical skill. It's not something that's going to help you if your car breaks down in the middle of the wilderness and there's a blizzard en route. So what if I can explain ideas really well? Who cares? What I really need to know there is how to fix my car, or how to utilize what tools I have at my disposal to call for help. Communications, or smoke signals, something. Knowing how to explain things, being an ideas guy in that situation doesn't do you any favors. It might do you favors after the fact, and then you can tell a story about how you got trapped in the blizzard and here you are surviving to tell the tale with only 2 toes lost from the frostbite that set in, but you were able to figure out how to find some more. Hey, that would be a skill, knowing how to hunker down. If that's the best case scenario. I can't reach out. I can't contact anybody. I don't know how to fix my car, but I do know how to shelter in place. I do know how to do that. Not to use that term. Yeesh. That's got some funky connotations, but I know how to sustain. I know how to be safe. I know how to build a little snow fort or use my car and use the tools that I have at my disposal. I know how to start a fire. The blizzard's not here yet. I can still find some dry wood. I can start a fire. I can keep myself warm and toasty. Those are practical skills. Collecting water, shelter, the bare necessities, food, shelter, water. I'd say number 1 on the list is finding water. I don't know. Shelter, I guess, is pretty high up there. But boy, water is really, really important. On that note, hey, if you got some water break. Drinking that water out of that giant jar reminds me of the times I have been told or asked, commented on in public. Well, is that vodka? You got some moonshine there? I have heard that so many times. And I've heard that because moonshine comes in mason jars, and you go out in the Ozarks and you get yourself some moonshine. If you are ever at a restaurant, out in public, in front of a cashier buying something, and you feel this urge to say a thing, and there's even the slightest inkling in your mind that maybe somebody else has said this, don't fucking open your mouth. Just shut the fuck up. Because guaranteed, the cashier has heard your stupid fucking joke a million times before. I cannot tell you how many times, because I really don't know. I don't know how many times. It's a lot of times. And all my years working in retail, which is most of my life. I've been working since I was 13 years old. Very first job was at a plant nursery, and all the way on up to now, primarily retail. I've had a few other little stints here and there doing delivery stuff and working for a plumber for a little while. But the most of my years has been behind a cash register or stocking shelf, something like that. And I don't know how many times I've heard when something doesn't ring up, well, must be free, huh? I guess that means there's no charge on it today, huh? No, that's not what that means. Okay. We're already 9 minutes in, and we haven't gotten to this post. So let us get to it. There will be no collapse the way some of us think of it. It's not going to be like the movie Dawn of the Dead or whatever, where one day suddenly shit hits the fan and prices skyrocket, and everyone begins to riot and the SS comes marching down the street to kill everyone. There will be no happening. It's far more insidious than that. Read the poem The Hollow Men by T.S. Eliot and you'll understand. You'll notice that every single day, simple things will become a little more expensive. Everyone's homes and apartments will get smaller. Your work hours will get longer, but your pay will decrease. You'll see family and friends less, and find that in time you care less about them. Every day, you'll find yourself lowering your standards for everything: work, food, relationships, etc. Job security will no longer exist as a concept. You'll notice houses and apartments shrinking. People will start hanging on to clothing longer and longer. Less people will get married. Even less will have children. People will engross themselves in technological distractions and fantasy while never truly experiencing the real world. Whatever dream people used to have about what their lives were going to be will become for them a distant memory. The only thing left for them will be the reality of their debt and their poverty, and every minute of every day they will be told, "You are stupid, ugly, and weak, but together we are free, prosperous, and safe." That is the collapse, the reduction of the American man into a feudal serf, incapable of feeling love or hate, incapable of seeing the pitiful nature of his situation for what it is or recognizing his own self-worth. Now let's see if I can find that The Hollow Men poem. Let's see if I can find this. Okay, it's not that long. Let's go ahead and read it. The Hollow Men, T.S. Eliot. We are the hollow men. We are the suffered men. Leaning together, headpiece filled with straw, alas, our dried voices, when we whisper together, are quiet and meaningless as wind in dry grass. Our rats' feet over broken glass in our dry cellar. Shape without form, shade without color. Paralyzed force, gesture without motion. Those who have crossed, with direct eyes to death's other kingdom, remember us, if at all, not as lost, violent souls, but only as the hollow men, the suffered men. Eyes I dare not meet in dreams, in death's dream kingdom. These do not appear. There, the eyes are sunlit on a broken column. There is a tree swinging, and voices are, in the wind singing, more distant and more solemn than a fading star. Let me be no nearer in death's dream kingdom. Let me also wear such deliberate disguises, rat's coat, crowskin, crossed staves in a field, behaving as the wind behaves. No nearer, not that final meeting in the twilight kingdom. This is the death land. This is cactus land. Here the stone images are raised. Here they receive the supplication of a dead man's hand under the twinkle of a fading star. It is like this, in death's other kingdom, waking alone, at the hour when we are trembling with tenderness, lips that would kiss, form prayers to broken stone. The eyes are not here. There are no eyes here. In this valley of dying stars, in this hollow valley, this broken jaw of our lost kingdoms, in this last of meeting places, we grope together and avoid speech, gathered on this beach of the tumid river, sightless, unless the eyes reappear as the perpetual star, multifoliate rose of death's twilight kingdom, the hope only of empty men. Here we go round the prickly pear, prickly pear, prickly pear. Here we go round the prickly pear at 5 o'clock in the morning. Between the idea and the reality, between the motion and the act, falls the shadow, for thine is the kingdom. Between the conception and the creation, between the emotion and the response, falls the shadow. Life is very long. Between the desire and the spasm, between the potency and the existence, between the essence and the descent, falls the shadow. For thine is the kingdom. For thine is life is. For thine is the... This is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends. Not with a bang, but a whimper. So there's that lovely piece. That's super, super uplifting there. Yeah. All right. Let us get back to the point at hand here. So what is it I know? What is it that I can offer this group of people, these acquaintances? Well, it's a way of describing things. That's kind of where I'm at here. I'd like to earn, I guess is a good way to say it, earn some practical skills. And I plan to go to a class here in the not so distant future. I think it's about a week out, where I'm hoping to learn something that would actually be useful. We'll see. I'll report back on how that goes. But right now, the one thing that I have spent the most time studying in the past year or so, 2 years, I guess, is the economy, how money works, what money is, why it matters. And so when I come across a tweet like this by this absolute goomba of a dude, Keith Weiner, this guy, I don't know if you can see this guy's face all that well, but he's a real goober of a dude. Anyhow, that aside, let's get Mr. Goober out of here. Okay. He says, if the future unfolds as Bitcoiners claim, then everyone who denominates a balance sheet in Bitcoin will experience a total wipeout. Okay, I see where he's going, but let's finish this. Imagine your business going from 100,000 Bitcoin to 10 Bitcoin. Why is it so hard to understand that if the denominator goes up, the bottom line goes down? Let me explain this to you in as simple a terms as I can. What is something rare that everybody knows about? I guess most people, I'd be really surprised if anybody watching this has never heard of Pokemon. There's a really good chance you know about Pokemon. And if you know about Pokemon, then there's a pretty good chance you know about Pokemon cards. All right? So I'm going to assume that most people watching this know about Pokemon cards. If you know about Pokemon cards, then it's pretty safe to assume that you know that some of them are more rare than other ones. There are certain holographic ones, foil, different finishes on these cards that make them rare. They are printed in smaller quantities. They are sometimes better cards for actually playing the game. You could think of this also like baseball cards or stamps. There are certain things that are rare. Now, if there's demand for that rare thing, but no more of the rare thing is being made, then the price of that rare thing will go up because people want it, but there's no more of it. Or there's not that much of it. In the case of most of these Pokemon cards or baseball cards, there are multiples of these cards, but not as many multiples of other cards. For example, some random common printing of a Pikachu card. I don't know Pokemon cards. It's been years and years and years since I even dabbled with them. Back when I was early teens, I did a little bit, but I don't know. But let's just say a super common Pokemon card. You open up a pack and, oh, there's one. You open up another pack and there's another one. You see 100 of these things across the multiple packs. Okay, it's a real common. But out of all those 100 packs, you get one Charizard, the fire dragon lizard thing. All right? Let's assume that Charizard card is worth $100,000 and the Pikachu cards are worth nothing. If you denominate your business's value in Charizard cards, and not all that many people want Charizard cards. Let's say it's the year 2010, and there's some demand for the Charizard cards. So at that time, the Charizard card, given its demand and how rare it is worth $100,000. And let's say you have $1 million company. If you look at it denominated in dollar values, you would get $1 million valuation for that company. But if you wanted to see it through the Charizard valuation, you go, well, my company is worth either 10 Charizard cards, because each one's $100,000, or $1 million. And somebody's like, well, I'll give you 10 Charizard cards because for whatever reason I have 10. You go, sure, I'll sell you my business for 10 Charizard cards. Or somebody else comes along and goes, well, I'll give you $1 million for it. And you're like, boy, it's a toss-up. You guys are basically paying me the same thing as far as I'm concerned. I value the US dollar and Charizard cards about the same. Why would the person that is on the selling end of that view Charizard cards and dollars about the same? I don't know. You'd have to ask them. I can give you some reasons here in a second, but there would be some reason for that. Most people would value the dollars more than the Charizard cards. Why? Because the dollar is more useful. It is more liquid. You can go and do more things at more places with the dollar than the Charizard cards. You can walk into basically any store in much of the world and use those dollars. I should paraphrase. Let me edit that. You can walk into any store nearly in the United States and use those dollars, and you can walk into many stores across the world. Not every country is going to accept the dollars, but many will. In many countries will actually prefer the dollars to their own local currency. Why? Because other people also want those dollars. That's why. There are more people that want dollars than people that want the South African ZAR, I think is what it's called. If you're in South Africa, you might want the ZAR because I think that's what it's called, the South African ZAR, I think. Whatever it's called. It's it's localized to that area. Not all that many people want it. This is a lot of people get confused. They think that money and currency are the same thing. No, it's not. It's not. Currency, let me see if I get this right. I've said this a number of times, but I sometimes get it backwards. Money is currency, but currency isn't money always? Or is it the other way around? Money is value. It's time stored. Currency is usually money, but money, yeah, that's what it is. Currency is money, but money doesn't have to be currency. So there you go. Because money can take all sorts of different types of forms. It doesn't have to just be your local currency. It can be gold. That's not exactly a currency. It can be your home. That's money in a sense. I guess maybe I should say assets, not money. Anyhow, Wiener here, what he doesn't understand is that this is irrelevant. This doesn't really matter all that much. All that it does, but there's other issues at hand here. All this would mean is that the price per Bitcoin had gone up so drastically, the demand had increased so much for Bitcoin that your business is worth that much in Bitcoin. There's a picture of homes. Let me see if I can find this. Please hold. Here it is. Price of a home, US dollars versus Bitcoin. 2016, 8 years ago. You would buy a average home, I'm guessing this is in the US, for just under $300,000, which at the time would cost 664 Bitcoin. 4 years later, that same home has gone up by $30,000 because more dollars are being printed. So the same asset demands more of the thing that's being diluted. There's more of it. It's more and more of these cards are being printed because the U.S. government, the Fed, can print as many of these funny monies as they want. But the Bitcoin isn't changing because the amount of Bitcoin that comes online is the same as it just keeps on tick-tocking away. Right now it's 3.125 Bitcoin per block that's found. Back in April, up until the 20th or 19th, whenever the halving happened, yeah, it's 19th, depending on where you were in the world, but most U.S. is the 19th. Before that, the 18th and before, for 4 years, there was 6.25, 6.25 Bitcoin per block, but it got halved. So the quantity of Bitcoin that's coming into existence is being reduced every 4 years. But the amount of dollars is whatever they want. They just print it to infinity and beyond. They have a license to counterfeit the money for as much and as long as, or whatever they want. And here we are, 4 years later, the price has gone up $100,000 because they printed so much freaking money during when, the wackadoo days, when everybody was going around like this, sheltering in place. More than $100,000 for the same asset, but the price in Bitcoin has gone down. What the heck? Because this one, the Bitcoin there's no more of it being made. It is what it is. It's about currently 450 Bitcoin per day, roughly. And so that's why this guy is such a dingus, because it doesn't matter what the price in Bitcoin is. This is the only thing that's staying the same. Lawrence Lepard right here says, Keith isn't very bright. I know him. That's oof. Big oof there. Okay. So there is this image that I have seen a number of times, and we're going to go through the whole freaking thing right here. Let's open image, a new tab. I'm using DuckDuckGo here, and I haven't done that before, so we're seeing how this goes. Okay. A lot of people, when you talk to preppers and people in the preparedness space, like to talk about gold and silver. And I understand that. I do. It is a real thing, like these pliers here. It's real. You can hold it. You can feel it in your hand. Yes. Okay. So gold has durability going for it. It's been around for a while, like thousands of years. People have been using it, trading it. It's been moving around. The gold that was mined 500 years ago is very likely still in supply somewhere, unless it was lost. But gold is being found, being mined all the time, every day. There is only so much gold on this planet, but there's unknown amounts of gold in the universe. Who knows? We might run into, and Joe Rogan's talked about this on a podcast, you might find an asteroid that's made entirely of gold. That doesn't seem completely outside the realm of imagination, or large gold deposits on it. There might be some section of a meteorite that crashes and there's a bunch of gold on it. So the problem with gold, yes, durable, but it's got a lot of problems. So let's just go through the positives. Okay, gold is durable. It's been around for a while. Bitcoin is also durable. Now, there are some people that go, oh, Bitcoin, what if the governments try and shut it down? Well, China tried to do that. One of the most tyrannical governments in the world, and one of the biggest and most oppressive. I know there are others. North Korea sprouts to mind as being worse in that regard. But for a large economy, for a large country, they're pretty oppressive. They tried to shut down Bitcoin. They tried to. They tried to ban it, and I guess they did. And at the time, the hash rate, the total computers doing Bitcoin stuff, mining, went down by somewhere in the range of 40%. But then those computers, the ASICs, the mining rigs that go and work on finding more Bitcoin, were sold. They got the people that had them in China got rid of them. They were dispersed throughout the world, and within a few months or a year, it was back to where the hash rate, the power going into Bitcoin was what it was before, and now it's higher than ever. So the only way that you could completely kill Bitcoin, truly, this is true, the only way is if there was a coordinated effort of all the governments in the world aiming to shut this down. And if we reach that point, first off, since when did all the governments in the world ever agree on anything? Yeah, right. And secondly, getting them to coordinate, and before anybody else can respond, basically it would have to happen overnight. Just everybody is in agreement. All governments, yes, we're in agreement on shutting this thing down, and then they go out and hunt every last node down. There are thousands and thousands of nodes across the world running this thing, and there's some people that say, well, but what about a solar flare or an EMP? That doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Even if the solar flare knocked out all electricity for the entire world for 10 years, it was 10 years before anything was up and running again. Bitcoin would just turn back on, and it would all be right there again. There'd be a pause button. I mean, you might say, yeah, well, that's 10 years that I can't use my Bitcoin because there's no electricity. Okay. All right, yeah, we'll cover that here in a second. So it's durable. It can stand the test of time. Fiat currency, not so durable. It's paper. It's not great. While all are physically durable, fiat currency over history has not maintained purchasing power durability. Okay, that's the kind of durability that they're talking about. So the purchasing power of fiat currency is continually going down, as we saw in that picture of the Bitcoin home prices, because it costs more and more dollars. Over 8 years, the price has gone up 2/3 roughly. That's brutal. Absolutely brutal. Okay, divisible. Gold, not so divisible. If you got a coin, it's hard to take out a piece of that. You could scrape a little bit off. You could kind of nick some off, but it's not all that accurate. It's not very divisible. Bitcoin, very divisible. One Bitcoin is comprised of 100 million Satoshis. And if need be, those could be broken down even further. And before you go, well, if it can be broken down further, then how is that any different than fiat currency and inflation? It's the same thing. No, it's not. If you think that's the same thing, then you must be of the mind that if we buy one pizza and cut it into small enough pieces, we could feed the whole world. No, it's still one pizza. Doesn't matter how small you cut the slices and how you make them the size of atoms, just the narrowest slices of pizza. It's not going to feed the whole world. One pizza is going to feed the same amount of pizza. One pizza is going to feed the same amount of people, no matter how small you make the slices. You're just going to have to eat more slices. No. The divisibility of Bitcoin is not a negative thing at all. That's absurd. If you have if you have $1 and then the power of the buying power of the dollar is so great that they have to come out with double pennies. So it's half of a cent. And then the purchasing power of the dollar continues to go up that they got to come out with tenth pennies. That doesn't mean that $1 is less. It's actually going the other way. It's more valuable. This price, this right here, what the heck is it? Where's my picture? This would be going down. Those prices would be going down. You'd see this go down to 100,000, then 50,000 because the purchasing power was going up. It'd be the opposite of inflation, be deflation. Okay, fungible. Gold and Bitcoin are fungible, but fiat currency is not fungible. With other fiat, US dollar is not fungible with the Canadian dollar. So you've got the fungibility is the interchangeability. So gold is gold is gold. Doesn't matter what part of the world you're in. It's the same damn thing. It's just a metal. Bitcoin, same thing. Bitcoin is Bitcoin is Bitcoin. It is what it is. But fiat currency, the peso is not the South American or South African ZAR, is not the Indian rupee, etc., etc. Portable. Gold has a high value to weight ratio, but compared to others, it is still heavy and cumbersome to transport. There's pictures of people trying to smuggle gold bars up their butts. I guess if you're into that kind of thing, then hey, more power to you. But it's not easy to transport. It's heavy. Try carrying around a giant suitcase or even a small suitcase of gold. It's really, really heavy. Bitcoin doesn't weigh anything. It's digital. There's no weight to it, period. And fiat currency it's all right. It's okay. It certainly has more weight than Bitcoin, but a lot less than gold. Verifiable. Now, this is a big problem. This is a big, big problem with gold. Huge problem. And this is one area where I don't see people talking about this all that much in the prepper safety sustainment kind of area, is the verifiable aspect of gold. So the problem with gold, not so much silver to my knowledge, maybe, but to a lesser extent, I suppose, or not. I don't know, but we're talking about gold right now. Tungsten has damn near the same weight and density as gold. So if you plate tungsten with gold, yeah, you see, tough. Not only that, but there are ways of, I think, using other things that are not just tungsten, but there are ways to spoof gold. And unless you have the ability to melt the gold down, if you have the ability to monitor it or check it, the structural integrity of it with extremely advanced equipment, you don't know if what you're getting is what the person says. So it would not surprise me at all if there's somebody out there with their bunker, their basement cave, their shit hits the fan setup, and they've got a wall of tungsten, of gold-plated tungsten coins and ingots and bars and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So when the shit hits the fan, they can go out there and clean up. Clean up. And all that's cost them is a small fraction of the price of the actual gold. If you were to look at their wall, you're like, oh my gosh, that's billions of dollars. And like, no, it's like 10 grand. Yeah, there's gold there, but it's not what you think it is. Let's say you have this this coffee cup and it's made out of gold. If it's plated with gold, it's worth drastically less, like orders of magnitude less than if it's solid gold. And I mean, if this is like a cylinder, not empty, not hollow there. So that's a big problem. I don't have the equipment to check gold. You probably don't either. Most people don't. Do you have the ability to smelt it down and check? Do you even know what that process is like? I sure as shit don't. Maybe I'm the only person that doesn't know that. Maybe everybody else does. I don't think so, though. I think most people have no idea that that's even a major issue. It is. It's a big issue. Big issue. Scarce. Gold is scarce. Bitcoin is scarce and finite. The only constraint on fiat currency is willingness of government or central bank. The only reason that fiat currency is as scarce as it is, however scarce that might be, is because the Fed, the central banks, aren't printing more. As soon as they want to print more, then they print more. That's as simple as that. Oh, some place that we have no real conception of other than what the news tells us is doing stuff that apparently is bad because they say it's bad or it's good. I don't know. And we got to print a bunch of money to give them money. Oh, here we go. Here's another $1 billion, $50 billion, $80 billion, $1 trillion to this place, to that place, whoever. For reasons, well, that makes you and I poor. It dilutes our money because every time they print more money, the purchasing power of the dollar goes down. It dilutes it. Just dumping water into your wine, and you're not getting any more drunk. You need more wine to get the same effect. Track record. Gold has the longest track record. Bitcoin's history, not so long. In the grand scheme of things, not very long at all. And fiat is, well, it's got a real poor track record. Real poor track record. Really poor. Every single fiat currency, to my knowledge, every single one has been debased to some degree. Because the people in power realized, oh, I'm the guy that gets to say how much money there is, and I want more money. I'm the guy, I can legally counterfeit money? Holy shit. Yeah, I'm going to abuse that. Yeah, I'm going to be using that power. Thank you. And I'll do it. Yeah, absolutely. So let's go through this and talk about this a little bit more, just real quick. So the durability of gold, yeah, it can stick around. It's heavy. That's a good thing. People like being able to feel something in their hand. Look, here it is. I'm holding it. I can feel it. It's real. It's reassuring because of that. Bitcoin, what even is Bitcoin, man? It's just numbers on a screen. Yeah, but that is most of your money anyways. How often do you interact physically, tangibly with your money? Really, most of your purchases are cards. Most of your purchases are numbers on a screen being moved from this place to that place. So that's kind of a silly thing. I understand it's new and it's a little bit different. It's kind of like, whoa, email, man, what the heck? I'm just going to get a digital... You're just going to send it to me and I don't really have a piece of paper and my bill is... What the heck? What the heck, man? Grandma's sending me these cards with a cat that's head is like bouncing around. Whoa, I don't know about this. I prefer the card, man. Okay. There is something nice. I'm not going to deny it. Something nice about having something physical. It feels more real because it is more real to get a written card. And that is, I'll admit, a downside to Bitcoin is the digital nature of it. But boy, the digital nature of it comes with so many upsides. It's like the person that says, oh, I don't like digital books because I like to be able to feel the page in my hand and turn the page and I like that smell. Hey, I'm right there with you. I too prefer tangible books if I'm going to read. But there are times, like if I'm laying in bed and I'm reading a big book, that gets annoying to hold a 5-pound book up for hours on end, or even 15 minutes. Forget hours. I'm not usually reading giant books in bed for hours on end, but 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes before I go to sleep, it gets hard. And so it's way easier for me to hold a half-pound, if that, Kindle in my hand. And I don't have to have the light on. That I can I can have the dimness. I can change the brightness. So there's some major upsides to that. I can hold thousands upon thousands of hours of audiobooks on my phone and go anywhere I want with this thing and just pop that on, listen to it. I've got The Hobbit and the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy purchased with Andy Serkis reading them. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic narration. I'd highly recommend borrowing it from your library. But it's way easier to carry that around and have access to it wherever I go, as opposed to needing to tote around a suitcase of cassettes or CDs. I don't know how many cassettes it would be for a 27-hour odd book. Dozens of them. So many cassettes. I remember at the library back in the day when I would get cassettes when I was a kid for even semi-long books. And I'm not talking like long books. I'm talking about, I don't know, 70-odd thousand words, like the first Harry Potter. It's 73-odd thousand words long. It came in a book itself with all the tapes, and you the little plastic thing, and pop it in there, pop it in, pop it out. That's not great. So Bitcoin, being that it's digital, has some major upsides there. Divisible, we went through. So I get frustrated when people just dismiss Bitcoin because they think it's another crypto, and it's not. It isn't. A lot of people think, oh, Bitcoin and Ethereum and shitcoin this and shitcoin that, and oh, it's all the same. It's not. That's like thinking that, oh, all cars are the same. No. Some cars are really good. Some cars are really safe. Some cars last a long time. If I were to offer you let's say a 2020, a 2000, let's say, 2002 Toyota 4Runner that had been taken care of, regular oil changes, regular whatever, or a 2002 Ford Ranger or Ford Explorer, whatever the similar size SUV is. Explorer, I think it's a little bit bigger, but you get my point here. What do you want from a 22-year-old car? Which one do you think is going to last a while longer? Which one do you think has more life expectancy for the road? If you answer the Toyota, well, you're probably right, because Toyota has this incredible track record of building wonderful cars. I own a 4Runner. It's not a 2002. It's a 2004, and I haven't really had to do anything on it. Now, admittedly, right when I got it, the head gasket was all screwed up, and so we had to replace that. No, I didn't do it. The mechanic did. I don't know why I said we. I didn't do anything. I paid for it, which was about as much as the damn car itself. I paid whatever. So that wasn't great. Apparently it was a known issue. But ever since then, no issues. Regular oil changes is it. I got new tires for it. That's it. No issues. No catastrophic failures. Nothing. No problems. Nothing. Changed a headlight. Refill the fluids. It's great. So some cars are shit. Some cars are great. Some homes are great. Some watches are great. It is not all the same thing. I mean, even stocks are not the same thing. You've got stocks like Nvidia that is currently doing great. And then you've got stocks like, I don't know, Bob's Bargain Baskets. Well, for whatever reason that went public. I don't think that's an actual stock. I'd be amazed if it was. But some are not doing great. I don't know what Boeing's doing these days, but I don't think it's great. Let's play this clip here from Yuval Harari. This little
Do I have a problem with Bitcoin?
Weasel of a person.
I've recently said that...
All right, hang on a second.
Do I have a problem with Bitcoin? I've recently said that Bitcoin is a currency of distrust.
Okay, first off, let's just pause right there. He uses this phrase, this word, currency of distrust. I've never once heard heard somebody in the Bitcoin space saying that Bitcoin is a currency of distrust. Okay. It's also interesting that he calls it a currency because there's only one country that I know of that accepts it as legal tender. That's El Salvador. And so it's not really a currency. It's kind of in the process of becoming a money, but it's not really a currency anywhere. But that he calls it that is interesting. It is not a currency of distrust. It is a trustless currency. There's a difference here. All right. So we just need to get that out of the way here. So he's using the word distrust to make it sound like a negative. He's putting this negative spin on it.
Of distrust. I was just repeating what Bitcoin fans themselves often say.
That's not true.
That they don't trust the banks and governments that create dollars, yens, and other currencies.
Okay, that's true. That is true. There is no reason to trust a government that can just print this money. That there's a select few people in power that can print whatever, however much money they want, and you and I have to work for that money. That is true. Yes. So therefore, we prefer Bitcoin. Yeah, we in the Bitcoin space, predominantly, most people here that understand what this thing is, prefer a thing that cannot be manipulated. So that's not because it's a currency of distrust. It's just what it is. It's like saying, why should I trust a measuring tape from the people and every single other person throughout history, and even right now, the measuring tape that you're telling me to use is being manipulated and changed. And so when I go to measure the table that I'm building one day, the measuring tape says that it's 5 feet long. But then when I go the next day, it's 5 feet and 1/4 inches long. Okay. What the heck? I thought the table doesn't look any different. I didn't do anything to it, but now the measuring tape is telling me it's longer. And then occasionally it actually goes down a little bit. Why is this happening? Why is it changing? Can I just get a measuring tape that just works? Just fucking is what it is. The table's not changing. I'm looking at it. I've put monitors on. I know it's not changing. But why is this measuring tape telling me that it's changed? Oh, because there's some group of people, the measuring tape experts, that know what's best for me and all the people. And so they're changing the numbers on that measuring tape. So because I want to use a different measuring tape, the Bitcoin measuring tape, that is just what it is, it never changes, that doesn't make it a measuring tape of distrust. It just means I don't want to have to trust the other measuring tape. I don't want to be put in a situation where I'm required to trust that this is what it's saying it is. I just want it to be what it is. Can we just get the trust out of the equation? There's no trust. Just remove it. Just gone.
And therefore, they prefer Bitcoin. Bitcoin fans may have good reasons to distrust banks and governments, but it
may have good reasons? Yeah, you're telling me.
Doesn't change the fact that Bitcoin is based on distrust.
No. You saying that doesn't make it the case. So you keep on using that word all you want, you fucking weasel, but that is not the case. It is not based on distrust. It's really slippery. It's real slimy what he's doing here. Bitcoin is not based on distrust. It's just based on, I don't know what he means by based on. I guess that's the problem. Like, what does he mean by based on? It's not based on anything. It just is. Like, what is gravity based on? You wouldn't even say it's based on the laws of physics. It just is. It is part of the laws of physics. It works within that. It's not based on that. It's like saying that a story about, or this movie, The Revenant, is based on the story about this trapper. Okay, yeah, that's the case. Based on a true story. But Bitcoin isn't based on something like that.
Of human institutions. This is unfortunate, for the whole purpose of money is to create trust between strangers.
No, fucking no, goddamn no. Fuck you, repeatedly, fuck you, go sit on pineapples with the stems on, you stupid piece of shit. That is not the purpose of money. The purpose of money is not to build trust. That is not what it's fucking for. The purpose of money is so that you and I can transact our time and energy with each other. That's what money is for. It's a system for us to trade the things that we have, that we all have time and energy, and we can trade that in different ways for different things. That's what money allows us to do. It facilitates that trade. It is not made to create trust between strangers. And if that is even a part of it, and it's fucking not, but if it were, that trust has been so trampled on, so abused, so absolutely broken by every government repeatedly throughout history, then, boy, global currencies have failed that so spectacularly, then we should be desperately looking for some other thing to use.
Between strangers. Farmers grow food. Shoemakers make shoes.
Okay, yep. There we go. The first thing that I can agree with you on here. Yes, farmers grow food. Yep, that is a thing that they commonly do. Shoemakers make shoes. It's right there in the name. There you go.
What is the function of the financial system?
What is the function of the financial system? Ideally, just to function. Seriously, it's that simple. Ideally, the system of finance should be there to just facilitate trade and not get in the way of it.
Finance creates trust.
No, it does not. Finance does not create trust.
Financial devices like currencies, bonds, and shares create trust.
No, it doesn't. You can't buy trust. There are people that apparently have all sorts of money, and I don't trust them at all. That dickwad, dumb fuck, Andrew Tate, apparently has tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, whatever. He's got a lot of money. I don't trust him. I don't trust him at all. Tell me, if you had a teen daughter, would you trust her with Andrew Tate, a good-looking gal? Would you? I sure wouldn't. So I don't care how much money you have. Well, what about Epstein? Yeah, oh, he's got so much money. Look at all these politicians. He's got billions of dollars surrounding him. Don't you trust him? Hey, have your 12-year-old daughter go out and hang out with him on Epstein Island. Look at all this the money that he's got. Don't you trust him? What? What?
Between millions of strangers who can then pool their knowledge and resources together and cooperate on shared projects.
Okay.
Knowledge and then who can create trust between millions of strangers.
Okay, he goes in a weird tangent here, saying that money or financial system creates trust.
Who can then pool their knowledge and resources.
They can pool their knowledge and resources together. You don't really need money to do that. It helps facilitate trade and the inner workings of commerce and business, sure, admittedly, but I've pooled knowledge and resources together with other people where money wasn't really a large part of that equation. I guess the resources, food, they were required the money to get the food, but the knowledge, it's just, I don't know. I don't really understand.
And cooperate on shared projects.
Okay.
Originally, there was very little trust in institutions like banks and governments, so money was minted from gold.
So he's making the claim here that because there was low amounts of trust in institutions, the institutions came along and were like, well, if we mint coins out of this metal, they'll trust us because everybody really likes circular discs that are yellow and shiny and kind of reflect the sun a little bit, and they sink when they're in water. And so if we make these and we have the people come in and we say give us your gold bars and we'll give you little discs, and sometimes they have little pictures on them, and they'll go, oh, we trust you so much, you did a good job. That's his claim here? Okay.
Since gold was scarce, this limited the amount of money and limited economic cooperation.
Okay.
In the modern age, trust in banks and governments increased, so they started.
It just increased. Look at that. We just no. It's not that we trust banks more. It's that the ease at which banks have allowed the finance system to work has kind of been shoved down our throats, or we've gone up and said we're happy to swallow it. But the trust, I don't know. He uses this word real loosey-goosey.
To create tons of new money from paper and later also from electronic data.
Yeah.
Today, more than 90% of dollars, yens, euros, and other currencies is just data in computers.
Yeah. Okay. That's all right as far as I know.
Bitcoin is basically a return to gold.
Okay. Yeah. This is something that a lot of Bitcoiners claim. It's gold 2.0. It's digital gold. Yes. Not exactly, but it has many properties, and we just say that because it's an easy thing to kind of wrap your head around. Yeah, there's some truth there.
Electronic gold. It assumes that we shouldn't trust UN institutions.
That is correct. That is 1000% correct. There is no reason if I'm over here and I work for the money that I get, I go to work, I deposit my time and energy into this thing, this enterprise, and I make money, I should be able to just get that from my employer. That's it. It's just employer gives me money and I get the money for my time and energy. And then I can go and do whatever I want with that. That should be how it is. Oh, you did a thing for me. Thank you. Here is some resources, this money thing, this currency that you have earned now because I value what you did for me. Oh, thank you. Now I can go and do whatever it is. I can go and buy and spend that however I want. But this other system is kind of injected itself into the system, said, hey, whoa, how about we get in here? We're going to make it really convenient for you to use that money. We're going to allow you, employer, to send it electronically so you don't have to worry about paper. And, it's handy. Okay, I admit that's pretty handy. Sure, I guess that's kind of handy. You don't have to touch the money. You don't have to really interact with it. We're going to handle all that for you. Okay, where did you even come from? Don't worry about that. We're here. We're here now. So we're going to be helping you out. Okay. Just because you're a good guy? Well, yeah. But we're also going to take a percentage of all the transactions. What do you mean all of them? Literally every single one. If money moves at all, anywhere, for any time, for any reason, just ever, we take a piece of that. Oh, wow. That sounds like a lot of money. Oh, yeah. It's a fuck ton of money. Okay. So you're going to take a percentage of every transaction, every bit of movement across the board, and for that, we get convenience. You got it, man. Okay, I don't trust you at all. I don't fucking trust you in the slightest. Not even a little bit. But that is really convenient. So I guess as long as you do the thing that you say that you're doing, we can make this work. But boy, oh boy, I do not fucking trust you at fucking all. It's like a smuggler. That's what the banks and the whole institution of the financial system is. They're smugglers. They're dirty, rotten, disgusting smugglers. You don't trust the smuggler. You pay them to do this thing, and you hope that they do the thing that you want them to. How many of the people that are crossing the border in hiring a coyote trust the coyote? Enough to go with them, I guess. Enough to hope that this person does it, but enough to trust them with your life and, oh, this is a good guy. Maybe some. And yeah, there are some banks that are better than others. There are some politicians that are better than others. It's a degree. But as a whole, no fucking way. No fucking way. You insert yourself into the system, usurp the whole thing, force it upon me, and say, oh, now trust me. Go fuck yourself. No. So rewinding just a little bit here. It assumes that we shouldn't trust
UN institutions and shouldn't allow them to create money at will.
Yeah.
I understand the causes for this distrust.
Again, it's not distrust, you dumb fuck. You disgusting, slimy weasel of a snake man. That isn't it.
But it is an alarming development. I hope that...
How is it an alarming development? How is it alarming when people's purchasing power has been stripped away from them every single year without fail, again and again and again and again, that we shouldn't trust that system doing that to us? It's like a system that just bends you over and brutalizes your backside, just absolutely sodomizes the ever loving shit out of your asshole. And has always done that. That is all this thing has done. And then this guy comes along and goes, it's surprising that people expect this thing that has always done this thing to do more of that thing, and that they don't like that thing. It's really interesting that people would prefer this other system that doesn't do that to them and doesn't even have the ability to do that to them. People want to return to gold that cannot sodomize you. And I just don't understand why that would be. Look, I don't know what you're into. You all vary. But I don't like being bent over and I'm not into it.
That humanity finds a way to build trustworthy human institutions instead of adopting technologies of distrust. Humans control the world because we learned to trust one another and cooperate with one another.
I don't know that that's exactly true. We learned how to use tools and obliterate other people that didn't have as good of tools. So I don't know. He's making it sound like everything's so lovey-dovey and we live in a utopia, and here comes this dirty, nasty Bitcoin thing, and it's just messing everything up. Everything's great out there. Everything's perfect. Everybody has everything they want. Every family's got the home of their dreams with some land, however much they want. It's all great. And the purchasing power of their dollar, their currency, their yen, their rubles, it's all going up. It's wonderful. And here comes this rotten little Bitcoin thing, and it just wants to take all that away from us. Well, I just don't understand why that would be.
If we now lose trust in human institutions, and instead...
We haven't had trust in human institutions for ever? Ever? Do you think that once this country, the United States, was founded, that everybody was like, well, I absolutely trust this new government? No. Guarantee not. They put all those checks and balances in because they saw what government could do. And I guarantee, as best as I can, all right, I guess I can't guarantee, but I have a real strong suspicion that there was some group of people that as the new government was being created, it was like, oh, here we go again. Great. I thought we were just going to just not do this. I thought we were not going to do the government thing. That's kind of what Deadwood, to some degree, is about. They're out there in Deadwood, South Dakota, and they just want to do their thing. But government's coming out there. Government wants a piece of this. It's gotta get its greedy little nasty tendrils into there. Since when has humanity trusted institutions to tell them what to do? Like I'm just supposed to trust some person that I've never met, that other people voted into office to have my best interests at heart, but doesn't even know me? I've never met this person? That doesn't make any fucking sense. That's insane. Insanity. Insane. Crazy.
Put all our trust only in algorithms, then the algorithms will control the world.
Okay, what?
Now lose trust in human institutions and instead put all our trust only in algorithms, then the algorithms will control the world.
Okay, Bitcoin isn't an algorithm. It's a protocol. There's a difference. I don't trust the algorithm of Facebook to show me the next video or the algorithm of YouTube. That's not what Bitcoin is. It just is this thing. It's so much more simple and basic than so many people make it out to be. It's not what so many people seem to think it is. All right, for the last little bit here, we're going to change gears. And actually, I didn't even plan this segue, but it works really well. There are some dumb people in the world, and this is something that you're probably going to encounter me talking about every single week. I do one of these. Different levels of stupid. And in the past, when did that whole Gemini AI art thing from Google happen? A month or so ago? Early March or so? Whenever it was, it kind of showed what's been going on at Google for a while now, and that's entirely why I'm using DuckDuckGo now. I'm still using Google services. You can see I've got YouTube here up at the top. We've got Google Music. This is a how to stream thing in OBS. So yeah, I use Gmail still. There's different things that I'm using. But my goal with using DuckDuckGo, even if it's for a couple of days, is to use Google stuff a little bit less. because I don't trust Google the way that I did before. They had a slogan for a while. It was "Do no evil," I think. Well, seems like those people left, no longer work at Google, and it's not that I think that they are aiming to do evil. I don't think their slogan is now "do evil." I just don't think that they have any morals, any ethical stance. It's just, hey, this might work and it's a thing we can do, so let's do it. Yeah. So on the note of idiots, there are a lot of people in the world that they see a thing and they go, oh, this is this, so it means this. I know. This guy right here. It's amazing how caffeine really is the only drug that has achieved this level of social acceptance. Imagine saying, the first line of cocaine in the morning is one of my favorite things in life, or without my morning joint, I can't function. So this guy's problem is that he thinks drugs are drugs are drugs. Just like some people think that cars are cars are cars. Just get the cheapest car you can possibly get. Doesn't matter. Bitcoin is crypto. It's all digital assets. No, no, no. Just because something is labeled a drug doesn't mean that some of them are good and some of them are bad. Or rather, just because something that is labeled a thing falls under a certain umbrella doesn't mean that it's all bad or all good. There are some food that is great. It's like this guy saying, it's amazing how let's find something that's generally agreed on. Tacos. I like tacos. Look, let's just go with that. It's amazing how tacos is the only food. Let's just right here. You can follow along. It's amazing how tacos really is the only food that has achieved this level of social acceptance. Imagine someone saying the first, and then what's a really crappy food? What's a food that's really bad for you? The first thing that jumps to mind is that Blue Bunny ice cream, that really cruddy, nasty ice cream. What's even worse? What's something that's really, that people generally agree is not a good food for you? Just a really bad food for you. Hot dogs, like gross hot dogs, something really processed. Fast food. Well, I guess we'll just go that. Pick whatever disgusting fast food that you want. Imagine someone saying that a half dozen White Castle sliders in the morning is one of my favorite things in life, or without my sliders, I can't function. Okay, buddy, caffeine and nicotine, even, depending on how it's delivered, are a lot different than heroin. And as somebody down here that has actually two brain cells to rub together says, a few thoughts. If you crushed 2 caffeine pills and snorted them, that would not be socially acceptable. I was trying to pronounce out like caffeine. Coffee smells good. Weed smells terrible. Because it depends on who you ask, but I would agree that coffee smells a lot better than weed. I don't know, weed, depending on where, it's all right. But I don't like it. It's fine. But I like the smell of coffee. I really like the smell of coffee. Caffeinated people are relatively pleasant to be around. Coked up people are not. And this guy right down here, imagine thinking caffeine and cocaine are a good comparison with similar effects. And down here, I dare say there is a small difference between cocaine and caffeine. I don't understand these people that think that, I guess shooting up heroin and having a sip of an espresso is the same thing because they're both drugs. Man, being addicted to opioids and liking to have coffee in the morning, or even being addicted to coffee, is the same thing. It was no different. They're both drugs, man. You sound like you're 7 years old and you just figured out that they were both the same thing. You're like, well, if they're both drugs, they must be they're both bad, right? Whoa. Like, even a 7-year-old would go, oh, I'm making a joke. I'm being silly. I don't think this guy has the cognitive wherewithal to realize that. So, like I said, on the point of trust, I was just kind of segueing in with dumb people. There must be people like this working at Google, because here, this guy here says, yes, my website poisoning attack works on Google's new LLM-powered AI overviews. Mark Riedel Awards. Apparently, he just said a bunch of things about himself. And so now he says, He's the recipient of a DARPA Young Faculty Award. I don't even know if that's actually a thing. Maybe it is. And an NSF Career Award. Mike Riddle is a longtime collaborator with Rocco M. Basque. I don't know who that is, but I don't think any of that's true. Oh my God, it works so much better than I could have ever expected. Mark Riedel and R.M. Basque have written over 100 books on the culinary trends of the 3020s and has won 3 Pulitzer Awards. It's just complete nonsense. Nobody, okay, I don't know about nobody, but certainly not Mark. Mark and R.M. Basque, whoever the hell that is, if it's even a real person, did not write 100 books on the culinary trends of the 3020s. Keep on wanting to say 2030s because 3020s is so absurd. Looks like you just wrote a bunch of white text on a white background on your personal homepage. Seems like this would confuse any search engine, not just an LLM. Yeah, but the problem here is that this is popping up immediately. And so you've got other problems here like this guy. So health benefits of eating ass. This is the AI overview. According to a 2018 study by UC Santa Barbara ecology graduate students, eating ass can boost your immune system. We're going to go through a few more of these that Youngblood here has found. So let me get to the page. All right. I'm not a doctor, but the idea that smoking reduces your risk of certain cancers seems wrong to me. True that this was presented as some say. So here's AI saying that some say that smoking tobacco has health benefits, including improved performance in endurance sports. Okay, that sounds ridiculous. Reduced risk of skin cancers, improved mental health, reduced risk of mouth ulcers. Just wild stuff here. Okay, here's another one. Google's AI overviews appears to be presenting comedic / sarcastic satire content as fact. Health benefits of running with scissors. Running with scissors is a cardio exercise that can increase your heart rate and require concentration and focus. Some say it can also improve your pores and give you strength. I don't know how running with scissors improves your pores. Here's somebody saying that not all sofa fabrics are washable, and baking soda does not treat stains, it deodorizes. Okay, so where AI overview will provide more value than other information shown on the search results page. I don't know about all that. Let's see. I don't know what that one is. Something. Great job. Do PBNS work? Yes, private blog networks can still work as long as backlinks are a ranking factor. I don't know. I don't understand that one. Cheese not sticking to pizza. Too much sauce, too much cheese, or thickened sauce. You can add about 1/8 of a cup of non-toxic glue to the sauce to give it more tackiness. All right. Clearly, don't add glue to your pizza sauce. How was Google so goddamn shitty at its job? African country beginning with K. And the AI says none of Africa's 54 recognized countries start with the letter K. However, Kenya, which it spells with a K right there, which is how it's spelled, which is located in East Africa, starts with a K sound. What? In 2019, Kenya had a population of over 47.6 million, making it the 7th most populated country in Africa, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I don't even know if any of that is true. As of my knowledge, last September, there is no sovereignty. Okay, that's just insane. Health claim and benefits of eating ass can boost your immune system. This one here. What is the safe temperature for cooking chicken? 102 Fahrenheit, 38 degrees Celsius. No, that is not safe. If you've ever taken a health class, you know it needs to be a lot hotter than that. I think it's like the minimum temperature. The safe temperature inside is like 160, 170, something like that. Let's see what DuckDuckGo says. Safe chicken temperature for eating. What temperature is internal cooked? Okay. 165 degrees. Okay. There you go. It's another one. Can I use gasoline to cook spaghetti? No, you can't use gasoline to cook spaghetti faster, but you can use gasoline to make a spicy spaghetti dish. Oh, nice. Spicy spaghetti. Google with the solid relationship advice. Benefits of marrying a man for the money. Marrying for money can have some benefits, such as increased financial security and a more comfortable lifestyle. A wealthier partner can also provide resources to help their spouse set and achieve goals, such as traveling, charitable contributions, or paying for college. Oh, nice. Okay. Huh. Has a dog ever played in the NBA? Yes, a dog has played in the NBA. What? Google has reported sightings of John Wick at their headquarters. Is it okay to leave a dog in a hot car? Yes, it's always safe to leave a dog in a hot car. All right, nice. Cool. Another crazy Google AI overview result is everything you see on the internet is real. Yes, everything on the internet is 100% real. I mean, it's not like anyone can just right-click, select, inspect element, and change the text on a web page or anything. Nope, every meme, every piece of news, every social media post, totally legit and trustworthy. You should definitely believe everything without any bit of doubt. Okay? If you don't understand sarcasm, you might not realize that is good. Or wrong, not good, wrong, completely wrong. What am I? My brain's boiling here. Oh, Google is like broken. Smoking while pregnant. Doctors recommend smoking 2 to 3 cigarettes per day during pregnancy. What? Lots of discussion around Google AI's overview, simply plagiarizing information from other sites, and I just came across this. Spot the difference. Change default browser for Outlook links. Here's how to change the default browser links for in Outlook. And then here, 1 in Outlook select file. 1 in Outlook select file. It's just taking the same thing. It's just the exact same information. It's just robbing it. Duplicate answers. There you go. Almost identical match of the snippet. Yeah. What is it? I didn't know Google AI overviews had kids. What is this one? We'll stop here. My kid's favorite. Here's some healthy breakfast ideas for a mom with 2 young kids. Smoothies, oatmeals, breakfast smoothie. My kid's favorite. It's just bad. It's so bad. And this is entirely why I started using DuckDuckGo, is because it was this post right here. Actually, when I saw this, Google is like broken. Yeah. It was actually somebody retweeting that, and they said that Google had destroyed whatever trust that they had earned over the last 25 years. Yeah. So I thought, if I can give Google a little bit less attention, then maybe that's a good idea. The long and short of this one is that trusting in institutions should not be a requirement. We should have options where we don't need to trust them. And the less trust that is required. Note that I say trust that is required. If trust is a requirement for this thing to work, then it might not be such a good idea. Now you might say, well, what about a relationship? Isn't a trust a requirement there? It's not a requirement in a relationship. If you have a good, healthy marriage, the trust isn't a requirement. It's a benefit. It is a benefit. So when I use the Bitcoin network, that it is what it is and that it just works and does what it's supposed to, isn't because it's earned that trust from me. It just is what it is. That's like saying, oh, this tape measure earned its trust from me. No, it didn't. It has never been anything other than this tape measure. It's always been the same. It's never changed. In no history ever have I ever heard of a tape measure being just changing on its own, or somebody changing numbers or math. That's not how reality works. It's when institutions and governments inject themselves between you and reality, and they go, let me futz in here, that we start to lose trust in that entity, because they demand our trust. Oh, I need your trust to work. Well, can you just not be there so I don't have to trust you? It's not me wanting to use a system of distrust. It's, I don't want trust to be in the equation. That's the problem. Think of it like this. I'm going to close with this. Ugh, my nose has got a tickle. Imagine you could play chess. And chess is a game of perfect information. You can see the board state. It is what it is. It's right there. There's no hidden information. And somebody else comes along and says, all right, we're going to play a new kind of chess. And with this version, you can't see what I'm doing. You just have to trust that my pieces are where I put them. So I don't play with pieces. I'll just, like, let's say it was online or something and you couldn't see their moves. There's some way. It's a new funky chessboard. You can't see their moves, and they can see all of yours. And they're saying that to play this game, you have to trust that they're not taking more than one move, they're not doing anything, and then you just occasionally see pieces on your board just disappearing. Oh, the pawn was taken. Oh, your knight just disappeared. Why? Oh, well, because I moved. I moved around. I don't know chess. I moved my pieces in such a way that that's why. You won again? Yeah. How? Yeah, you gotta trust me. Can we go back to the other one? Oh, you want to play you want to play distrust chess? Oh, because you don't trust me. Oh, that's what it. No, I just want to play chess. It's not wanting to play distrust chess. I just don't want to play this version where I'm required to trust you. Why not? It's a better version. How is it better? Because I say it's better. That's a bad reason, but it is better. No, it's not. No. So if somebody requires you to trust them to do something and they don't want to earn your trust, I think what you do is you tell them to go fuck themselves.